What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peeks at Halcyon 6. So what would happen if you took Master of Orion, Star Control 2, maybe a little bit of XCOM, and some JRPG combat, but with spaceships instead of people, and mashed it all together? That's pretty much what this is, and it is freaking awesome. This comes to us from a new Canadian studio. I love showcasing games from my fellow Canucks, based out of Toronto, called Massive Damage, and this was the result of a very, very successful Kickstarter, as well as some contributions from the Ontario Media Development Fund. I don't know how I missed this game. I never heard about it until I was offered a pre-release review code with my first ever press embargo. Yay, I'm getting somewhere maybe. And I've put quite a bit of time into this game so far, and this is probably going to be a long video because there's a lot to talk about here, but man, this game blew my mind, and I am loving it, and I'm probably going to put a lot more time into it. So, at its core, this is a 4X game. So, you're just going to spend a lot of time looking at stuff like this. So, as you can see, this does have a pixel art base, and I think that's fantastic, actually. I think the pixel art in this looks really, really good. And this just, as soon as I saw this map, Master of Orion 2 and Star Control 2, which are two of my favorite games of all time, immediately leapt out at me, and I was just like, oh, geez, this could be very bad for me. And you can tell there's a lot of inspiration from that. So the idea behind this game is that you are part of a group of humans who left Earth and discovered this weird alien artifact station, which you have called Halcyon 6. And, well, to make a long story short, crazy huge aliens called either the Krull or the Cruel, I think it's the Cruel because there's two U's, showed up, wrecked everything, and you're pretty much all that's left, you and some straggling colonies that you're using for supplies. So this is now where humanity lives, and your goal is to eventually defeat the Cruel and reestablish humanity's position within the galaxy. And the Cruel are not your only threat. There are numerous other alien races in here, all of which are kind of quirky and neat looking and have their own little humorous attitudes to them, much like Star Control. And you have to deal with them as well as pirates, which are these guys here. And you have to contend and manage all of these things while keeping yourself supplied and while eventually fighting back the Cruel and regaining humanity. So, as you can see here, I'm 194 days of game time into this game, so days go by fairly quick here. And I'm going to just sort of jump through all of the main screens of this and give you a little explanation of each, and then we're going to go from there. So this is the main screen. You've got your crew listed down here, or rather your officers. So officers you can gain more of over time. By building different facilities and things like that. So we're gonna go over that function later. And here's the Starbase. Now this is where I get an XCOM vibe, and by an XCOM vibe, I particularly mean the most recent two XCOM games that came out. So you're on this station here. It's a very, very big station, and you can dig out or explore other empty rooms and build stuff within them. So you start with a bunch of these rooms already unlocked and a bunch of facilities within them. I actually haven't done too much construction yet, but you have things like an officer academy here, which is where you can train and get new officers, of which you need them because to build a new starship for your fleet, you have to have an officer that commands it. In addition to that, you have your starship construction, which we'll get to. You have things that help you build materials in-house rather than having to go and get them from colonies. There's power facilities and a whole bunch of other things. And when you go exploring, you may sometimes run into unusual alien inhabitants of this station that you have to deal with. This game's combat principally takes place in space, but there is ground combat as well, though it plays very much the same way. So yeah, so we have that. We have ship management, which is where you manage your fleet. This is one of my criticisms of this game. The UI for fleet management is kind of a pain. It's very difficult to tell from within this menu what is part of what fleet, because you can have multiple fleets and eventually you will have to. But it shows you the different ships here. You can repair your ships, which you use using dark matter, which is one of the 4 primary materials up here. So you see you have crew, materials, dark matter, and fuel that you use for different things. So you can repair your ships from here. You can reassign officers to them. If you want to drop a ship so that you just don't have it in your fleet anymore, which you probably will want to do later, you can scrap it. Scrapping a ship gives you only a tiny portion back of what a ship is worth. So that's generally not something that you want to do until later when your ships are getting just really old. And ships, you can see, actually have sort of their own... I don't know if ships have experience in and of themselves. I don't think they do. I believe the officers do. But it does keep track of the ship's number of victories in battle. That was one of my starting ships, so it has a lot of different victories in it. And it shows you the different commanders that are assigned to each ship as well as its traits. So there are 3 kinds of officers and by extension ships in this. There is, or is it 4? So yeah, there's science, engineering, and tactical. Yes, that's what it is. Science, engineering, and tactical. All of which come with their own different powers, which you can level up in their own ways, and we're going to get to that after. So there's also ship construction. So these are the various ships I can build right now. You do have to research the ability to build other ships. The research tree I will show you later. That is something I also have a little bit of criticism for. I think it's a little thin, but we'll get to that. So you can pick a ship. If you've got the resources to build it, you just build it, and then you have to assign an appropriate officer to it. So this is a science vessel. You need to have a science officer available to command it. You need that in order to make use of the different powers that the ship makes itself available to you. Then this is the tech tree. So this is the sort of core research tree here, and as I said, at least at this point, unless it expands out a bit more, it's a little bit thin. You can research different abilities from within other structures that you can build. So for example, the cadet barracks is something that I built after the game started, and you can research different things after that, which helps give your crew members different abilities and higher level abilities that affect them later on. And you see, you can also research different ships for each class. You can research different base upgrades, so better reactors. You can get a fuel plant. What is the Cruel Lab? Which reduces costs and enables new Cruel-related tech. Ooh, that's kind of neat. I'm saving up for a science ship right now, so I'm not going to research that right now. But so this is instantaneous, this research. Most of the research in this game actually takes quite a while to do, or most tasks actually take quite a while, in-game days, whereas research is instantaneous. So then we have the officer quarters. So these are my officers down here. You got to be very careful with your officers, because if you lose them, well, they're gone. And training new officers actually takes quite a while. To unlock a different officer slot requires you to have an officer of a particularly high level each time going forward, and you have to be very cognizant of that. You don't want to, it can take you a long time to get a bigger officer pool up, so you've got to really balance your ship construction and whatnot. So every officer has traits that they can gain through experience. So you can see here there are little bonuses. So ship combat speed, space combat evasion, cocky, nasty scar. Some of these, I don't know how much they affect stats, but so you see it's got ranks. And here's additional ones. Level 10, tier 4 engineering starships capable. And it goes up from there. Admiral is level 13, which I believe is the highest. Each captain also, or officer, also gets a procedurally generated bio, which I always thought was really cool. Some of these are really kind of hilarious to read. I actually think they're pretty cool. And then you have your powers. So some of these are ground-based powers for ground combat. Some of them are ship combat, and I'm going to show you the ship combat later, but you want to diversify. If you have a fleet, you generally want to have at least 2 types of ships in it, if not one of each. And you want to make sure that you diversify these out so that you have a good mix of both offensive and defensive powers at your disposal. And I will show you the benefits of each one from there. But yeah, I've got some officers that have been here since the beginning, which are these 3 guys here. And then these 2 are newer, and this officer just started. He's very green. He hasn't done much of anything yet. You can also change their names. I find the default names for the most part are actually kind of good, so I keep them that way. So you can do that. And then, of course, right here is the options menu. This game doesn't have much. It's a 2D game, so there's not much in the way of options. You got your resolution. You got your sound sliders. This is a pre-release build, which is why this looks like this. The final release should not have that. But you can change all your hotkeys too, which is very, very nice. Okay, so I've been putting some time into this. So one of the things you're going to see here, so here's our Cruel fleets here. Now, these are guys that were left over because what happens is the Cruel when the game starts, actually create portals around different planets that they use to spawn in new fleets. And what you have to do is go out and take out the substantially large fleet that is guarding said planet in order to close the portal. I closed all the portals in this sector, but the crew are not done yet. Now, what the crew will also do is they will go after different planets. So you see here the planets that have the little skull. So these are ruined facilities. So on each planet, you can discover human facilities that will produce different things. So these guys produce dark matter. These guys produce colony, or is a colony which produces people. There's a fuel refinery. You can choose to evacuate these planets at any time and get the people from them, but if you do, then the facility is no longer available to you. And frequently you need these facilities to generate the stuff that they do. But you got to send your fleet out to the planets to pick it up. When they have the exclamation point over them, it means that they can't produce anymore because they're at full capacity, so you got to go pick it up. Your ship can hold an unlimited amount, so you can go out to the as many planets as you want in a big run and come back. If the crew will get over one of these planets, they will start to bomb it. Now, you get a good amount of time to deal with it here, so this is sort of a mission list here, and you can see we have a bunch of different things here. But here, the Malice colony is under attack, so I have 28 in-game days to go and deal with these guys, or this colony gets wrecked. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you here, is we're going to go deal with that. This is your notifications bar here, so this is from an officer who was recently promoted. I think I already did her upgrade. Yes, I did, 'cause she has 0 skill points available, so I just didn't clear that, so... All right, so let's show you some how some of this stuff works. So we're going to do a couple of resource pickups on our way, and then we're going to send the bigger of my 2 fleets. I have 2 fleets right now. We're going to send the bigger one after this guy and rock his world. So when you want to go to a star, you just highlight it, and you say you want to send a fleet here. Now, I have 2 fleets available. I called them main and secondary. I'm trying to get enough resources together to build a science vessel. I don't actually think I have another science officer right now either, which is kind of a bummer. Science vessel is kind of principally the healing and defensive one, which is why I want that. So this is my secondary fleet right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually send these guys out to do the resource runs, because they're not quite as powerful. All right. So they go on their way. So this game, it's not turn-based per se, but you can toggle between pausing and running by hitting the spacebar or going up here. So it will start the clock once you send off a fleet, but I want to send off another one because we're going to go deal with these guys. All right, so we're going to send a fleet here. Now this is a fleet that's already in transit. I can redirect them if I want, or I can send a new fleet, which is I want to send these guys. This is my badass goon squad. You can see these guys are powered to hell and gone, and we're going to send them off. Okay, so these guys reach the fuel refinery, so I can transfer the fuel that they have. I can evacuate the facility, or I can just take off. Evacuating the facility is only worth doing if you think you're going to lose it because you just can't hold the line. At this point, that has not been a problem. This game has been a little bit challenging, but not overly so yet. It probably ramps up. I'm very early in, so it may get a lot harder later, but for now, it's not so bad. All right, so they're done their thing. So we're going to send them over here, which is another one that's full up. So this is to a colony. So you can see here, the secondary fleet, they're stationed at Ghost Head, which is there. We're going to redirect them here. And you can see up there, there's also somebody coming to my station. Now, that's probably one of the other alien races coming to talk to me, or they could be trying to attack me too. So we're going to have to watch for that. Who is this? Rogue Thought Firewall. So this is an AI race who seems very pleasant, but everyone tells me not to trust. So you know what? For now, I think we're going to tell this secondary fleet to return home. So it's saying they've got the 45 crew that they went and picked up. Okay, the Collective. Yes, this is who these guys are. So this is one of the alien races. Everyone has said that these guys are evil and not to trust them, but he always seems so nice. Hi, Terran friends. I hope you're holding on okay in that ungainly station of yours. So I've sent this hypercast to ask a favor. Nothing too pressing, but it would be really great if you'd help me out. These guys will give you secondary missions a lot of the time. It turns out an aggressive identity matrix embedded from a few centuries back managed to hold itself up into a handful of my biovessels, so they have a rogue fleet. This is a very common quest. Shouldn't normally be a problem, but a reoptimization of my biovessel placement sort of led them to coalescing on the same few ships as one of my fleets. Long story short, I partitioned off one of my fleets, and it's now super hostile to humans. So just giving you a heads up. If you can handle it, that'd be great. I would, but I'd rather not risk the matrix spreading in any manner. Because, you know, I like getting along with my neighbors, specifically my human ones. Yeah. So we can either tell him to pound sand or we can take it. We'll take it for now. You don't... Some missions have timers. If you don't complete them, as far as I know, you just don't get the rewards. I don't think you necessarily piss off the races. Yeah, whatever, bro. All right. Now, here's where we get into the meat of the game. So this is where we went and we're going to defend this colony. So this is what's really cool. This is essentially JRPG combat, but with spaceships. And I love it. So see right down here, we've got a turn order, just like you would in a normal JRPG. And it's going to show the order here, which I can change by using various different power-ups. So this is my first ship, my science ship. So I have a bunch of abilities unlocked right now. I can hasten an ally, which I often do. You can do this, which will basically disable an enemy for a certain amount of time. I often use this against the strongest one in the fleet. His portal cannon, which is a relatively weak weapon. A virus upload, which takes their accuracy down. And Cauterize Hull, which is a healing ability that I can only use 3 times. This is 3 times per battle, not 3 times ever. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this here. So he's been disabled for a little while. This is these two are my heavy hitters. So this is my tactical ship. So you see here broadside, and you can see the different things that it does here, right? So we've got the salvage harpoon, repair drones, which is another healing ability, though this one's a little weak. Drone swarm, flak barrage, deconstruction, which causes a hull breach, and the shock mine, which can also disable guys. So the different status ailments that you can put on people here. So vulnerable, so using this has a 40% chance of making me more vulnerable, meaning I have a greater chance to get hit. Inflicts hull breach, which just causes damage over time. Same thing, vulnerable. Engines down means that the enemy is less maneuverable, which means they have a lesser chance to dodge you. Hull breach again, and yeah, ship disable literally disables the ship. And crew panic, I'm not 100% sure what crew panic does. I think crew panic, yeah, it doesn't say. I think crew panic just reduces effectiveness as well. So we're going to use this on this guy. These bio guys kind of tend to be dickish. All right, and here we go with my secondary ship. So we've got weapon supercharge, which is a temporary thing that literally just buffs the weapons, but only on this ship. Fire at will, which is the biggest barrage, but has a recharge time and has a chance to make engines vulnerable. Harass, which can take their sensors offline and also does a decent amount of damage. Crippling shot, which does damage and takes their engines down. Teleport explosives, which can sabotage them and again cause damage over time. And targeting support, which just makes your allies more accurate. So I tend to like to supercharge my weapons early, but let's do a fire at will on the one guy who's still not disabled here. And I took his engines down too. Alright, so his weapons are disrupted, which is going to be kind of a pain. So you see here, anything that has a cooldown, you'll actually see it tick away here. So this is the idea, and you can see it's every move has a neat little animation, and the enemies move, or the targets move out to take their shots. It's total JRPG combat, but with spaceships, and I think it's friggin' cool. Let's broadside this fool. Alright, we caused a hull breach. Alright, now we got some time. Yeah, let's targeting support everyone up. Alright, here we go. So yeah, this is going to help us be a little bit more accurate here. So let's just... Okay, so... And you can see from the turn order down here, one of the enemies we disabled is going to come back. I am pretty sure, though I am not 100% on this, that you can only disable an individual enemy once per combat, because anytime a disable ability has recharged and I've tried to use it on the same enemy, they have resisted it. So just like JRPGs, there are resistances, there are chances to dodge, there are chances to resist an attack. You know, it's all a lot of the same tropes that you would expect. And a lot of people would say, oh, this is pretty bog standard JRPG combat, and you're right to a degree, but I think it's different because it's spaceships. I know that may sound a little simplistic, but I really think it has something to it. Oh boy, we're getting a little wrecked over here, so alright, let's get rid of you for good. Bye-bye. Alright, so we'll cauterize this guy's hull. I upgraded the cauterized hull, so it's a little better. So he evaded there, and you see they put out little quips once in a while, too. Alright, so let's go... This guy's next up, so that's the salvage thing, so his hull is breached. So is mine, though. Yeah, so we can't disable him because he's already been disabled. So let's speed one of these guys up. So you see, because I quickened this person, now she actually gets 2 turns. So that's pretty rad. So let's just eat it. All right, and let's harass you too. We're just gonna beat the snot out of you. And different types of ships as well do have different things that they're vulnerable to. So you can see we can actually get statistics on them here. So he's got Brood Pods, which is a healing ability, and he's got his Chaos Cannon. So vulnerabilities, hull and hull breach, assistances, weapon systems, and weapons disruption. So it kind of gives you an idea here. So different ships are vulnerable to different kinds of attacks. That hasn't been super critical thus far, but I am certain that later in the game that is going to become very important to know how to balance if you want to be effective. I've already had some battles against larger fleets that have really come down to the wire. One of these sort of, if you want to call it a boss fight that I ran into at this point, involved me taking out one fleet, and then I could either flee to get some reward or fight another fleet without retreating. You can only do a full repair of your ships back at your base, so that's a key thing to keep in mind. Or I could, let's teleport some explosives over here, or I could fight the second fleet. I fought the second fleet, I won barely, and then it gave me another option to fight a third fleet or for an additional bonus, and I was just like, no, I can't do that, I'm gonna get my ass beat. So it was very, very interesting, some of the ways it does that. So some of these solutions can get very difficult. So Drone Swarm there, I actually just got upgraded. Drone Swarm used to only go after one target. Now it goes after all 3 with the latest version that I got of it, which is pretty handy. So I'm going to probably be using that more often going forward. So we're just going to wreck him. We're going to take a bit of a beating here, but these guys are going to head back home after. One thing that makes this game a little easier too is that you do have an advantage that your enemies don't. So if this guy, we'll see if he actually does it. I think we'll take him out before then though, but if an enemy gets you down to 0 hit points, you don't immediately die, you go into a critical state. And you have until an enemy hits you again, I believe, before to heal yourself before you blow up. So you're basically given a second chance, and when you're in a critical state, you can still attack. Your ship is not limited in any way. So there's been multiple times where if I did not have that bonus at my disposal, I would have lost battles or at least lost ships. So that is one way in which this game maybe is a little easy, in that it does kind of give you a real second chance there against blowing up from enemy combat, whereas the enemies, as you can see, do not have that. You get them down to 0 and they dead. So alright, we took that battle out, we got ourselves 162 materials and 331 dark matter. And Santiago Lecter, which is one of my crew members, got an upgrade. He has damage bonus versus the Cruel. So this guy has been saved. Also, Adisa Kim got promoted. So this place has a whack of materials for us. So we're going to keep them going. We're going to head down here because we can just grab this dark matter. Also, crewman gained some reputation. So let's take a look at this stuff here. So yeah, this is on Adisa Kim's ship. Crewman plus 4 damage. So you see your crewmen can actually get their own little perks and bonuses as well. And this is what I believe sticks with the ship. So like that one older ship I had that had all the stars over it, that had a very experienced crew. And it's not very realistic, but I believe you cannot move the crew between ships, only the officers. Which is a little kind of like, what? But I also understand why that's the case. It kind of makes sense. So, so what can we do here? So we have stealth, sabotage, 1, all enemies. These are ground combat abilities down at the bottom here that she has. Ground combat is not something I've run into too much at this point, so I think I'm just going to get Fire at Will 3, because this thing just wrecks fools. Alright, so we've got that, so we're going to tell these guys now to return home, so that they can drop off all their booty and get themselves fixed. So we're going to send them home. So there's a couple more Cruel fleets up here that we could deal with if we wanted to. They've just been hanging out because I kind of wrecked all their portals. So they're like, oh man, now what do we do? Now I may have the goods to build that science ship I want. But unfortunately, like I said, I don't have a science officer right now. And I don't believe... Okay, yes, let's repair this ship. And I don't believe I have the resources necessary to build to get a new science officer. Let's see here. So we want to go to the Officer Academy. Requires a level 7 officer. We have one. Now, of course, if you want to use one of your level 7 officers who is assigned to one of your ships, then that ship cannot go out. If I try to send that ship out in a fleet, it will go, yo, this person's doing something on your base. And if I take them off of that task, any progress lost on it, any progress that was made on it is gone. So if you interrupt a task, whether it's training new officers or something else, you have to, you don't get to come back and resume it later. You got to bail on it. So that's also something to keep in mind. But this will allow us to get a science officer and then build my science vessel. So it looks like here we have a better chance to get engineering people than, it looks like we have the lowest chance of getting science people, but let's try it anyway. And then while we're at it, while we're at home, let's do some exploring here. I'll see if I can find something within one of these. You have to assign an officer to exploration too. I'll assign somebody here and see if we can find ourselves some ground combat to get ourselves in. Sure, let's just assign these guys here. And like I said, it says it takes days, but a day goes by pretty quick here. So if I start the clock, you see time just goes whee. So, and you can turtle to a certain degree. Like your exploration team found something disturbing. Here we go. Your exploration team has come across a grisly sight. It previously undiscovered amorphous molluscoid with large incisions across its exposed hindquarters. The incisions suggest a leecher present in the area. Leave the leechers alone for now, hunt them down, or Santiago Lecter zoologist. I don't know what this is. Ascertains the molluscoid could be some kind of transdimensional being, a highly delicious one at that. Okay, so it looks like we don't have to fight anything there. So, alright, well, we'll just keep this going. Oh. Pirates came to say hi. Ah, Lieutenant Starstabber. This guy is comically hilarious. An important facility has been cornered by a cruel fleet and is in danger of being overrun. The Admirax sent me here to request aid against our mutual enemy, with the warning that if this facility falls, it could greatly hinder our war preparedness in the future. Do you wish to aid the pirates? Not especially, but okay. The enemy of my enemy and whatnot. So we'll go looking at that after. Okay, so they cleared out the section we asked about, so we can show it here. So you can either build something in here, which we don't really need anything at this point, and you get some little materials for doing it. So shoot. All right, we didn't get any ground combat out of that. Well, that's kind of lame. So, all right. So what is the facility that is cornered by the cruel fleet that they want? Let's check out one of these missions here. Okay, there's one down there. This is the fleet of the collective. So there's only 2 ships. So I'm a wager that we could take our big boys here and go down there and wreck some stuff. So I'm just going to do this. So the game does autosave every new day, or every few days, I guess. It's not every new day. But you can manual save at any time you want. So working it is sort of my go-to title for mid-level saves. So let's send, let's send the mains down here. Let's wreck these guys. Oh, wait, right. The officer pool is being analyzed. These guys maybe could do it. It'd be 2-on-2, and they don't have the... See, this is what I don't like about the fleet management screen. Like, it doesn't really give you the best view of the ship in terms of, like, what health they have and things of that nature. I find this a little... I just don't find it... Yeah, you see, and now it screwed it up. So hang on, I want to cancel that because it assigned somebody I didn't want to assign to that. I think the fleet management UI in this is very... Yeah, it's not particularly great. Yeah, see, it... bugger. I think it's this person. Yeah, Golda Takahashi. Okay, we've got that right. So, you see, I can't even really tell how much hit points they have, so I don't know if I want to go after these guys. They might get wrecked. So, alright, let's leave this here. We'll wait till the officer pool is analyzed. Okay. Show location. So, they scour the officer pool. we have 3 new options now, including a science officer, which is fantastic. That's probably who we're going to go for. So it shows you the different abilities that these people come with. It is mixed up, so you won't always get the same mix of abilities with each new people. You can also choose to re-roll if you want, but you can't hold any of these. So if you re-roll, then you may end up with something worse than you wanted. So I'm probably just going to go with one of these. I find the re-rolls give you things that are fairly similar. So you can read their little bios if you want, but now the only thing is, though, this guy doesn't actually have any healing abilities, does he? No, he doesn't. Nano restoration field, but that's for ground combat. So you know what? Let's re-roll. Why not? Invasive surgery, emergency meds, that's also ground combat. This is not quite as good as I wanted, but you know what? Let's pick this guy anyway. So there, Commander, thank you for the opportunity. And now what we're going to do is we need the fleet, so we'll leave that for now. But before we go out, we're going to build him his science vessel, and it's going to be the level 2 science vessel, which is the Magus, I believe. Except now we're short on people. Dang it! See, this is what happens. You got to balance those resources, right? So, but now we have our main fleet back. So, all right, let's go get this over with. Let's send the primary fleet. Hey, Mr. Robot, it's time to die. Collective fleet, the half-robotic, half-organic collective are a normally peaceful race, though from time to time they sometimes exude psychopathic tendencies. This seems to be one of those occasions. Lovely. Alright. You know what? I'm going to stun you. Except he resisted it. Well, bollocks. And he resisted that too. I guess these guys can't be stunned, so TIL, I guess? Okay, we're going to supercharge out the gate here. And you know what I'm also going to do? I'm quicken you. So we're going to have a lot of turns after these guys take their shots. Oh, and he's got overcharge as well. Not for long, son. Eat it. Oh, taste justice. Oh, look at that. So yeah, as you can probably tell by this point, I have been enjoying the hell out of this game. I'm actually surprised it's only taken me 30 minutes to explain this whole thing to you, because there is a lot to talk about here. But I've put a number of hours into this game already, and I actually put more time into researching it than I thought I would, because it is one of those games, just like Master of Orion, just like Star Control, just like any number of 4X games, where you sit down with it for a little while to do some stuff, and then you're like, oh god, it's 6 hours later and I haven't eaten yet, and what the hell happened? And why am I unemployed now? Oh god. There we go. Uh-huh. Yes, yes we do. Cheers. So there we go. Completed the objective, and we got not much for it, but that was also a relatively low-level mission, I think, so. But we'll do that one, and, oh, Santiago was promoted again, and he's level 7 now. Good! I like it. So let's see here. Truth be told, I'm kind of thinking his stasis lock might be the best one, though. He really... Because I don't even think... Can I even upgrade... Yeah, his cauterize thing isn't an upgradable skill, so that doesn't even matter that much. So you know what? I think I'm just going to go for his level 3 stasis lock. Alright. So where's the other mission here? Pirate Rescue. Where are they? Now, see, this is the other thing that's kind of a pain, too. This will sort of center the objective on your screen, but it's not always super clear which place it wants you to go to. Okay, so it's right here. So yeah, I did do it right. So this is the pirate rescue mission here. So we have time to run home and heal up a little bit. And then we're going to go down and deal with that. So yeah, this game I think is fantastic. I kind of wish I'd seen it sooner because, well, this was kickstarted and it was also in early access apparently. I had an embargo on the full release version. This is embargoed is noon on launch day. So, but I totally missed it until I got wind of it from their PR people, and I was just like, man, because I would have enjoyed playing this in early access, though I say that I was in the Master of Orion, the new Master of Orion early access for forever, and I never actually got around to playing it, so who knows if I would have, but It's fascinating the way Massive Damage created a really cool mashup of... Oop, what's this? So we've run to a quick scan the whole integrity of the two fleets. The pirate fleet is likely to be eliminated in a matter of minutes without our intervention. However, pirate combat methodology says they will be able to do some hull damage to the crew before their demise. So we can either let the pirates die and walk into a weaker crew fleet, or we can just jump in and deal with them, or we can bail. I think we're strong enough to just go straight in, and the pirates will appreciate this. So yeah, so these are the 3 different kinds of ships. So cruel engineering ships, tactical ships, science ships, you get the idea. We're just going to go right in here. So, oh, mother. I did not expect them to be this tough. This may not go well for us, but, alright. Let's see what happens. We'll disable you, and we'll disable you. And then we'll beat the living snot out of the weaker one. By which I mean not very much. Oh, this is going to go poorly, I think. Well, it was nice knowing you. So, yeah, but I think it is incredible the way Massive Damage has managed to combine multiple different genres and different sort of gameplay tropes from each one into a really interesting, cohesive whole. Much as I was lamenting earlier on about how this game didn't seem to be terribly hard, whereas now it looks like I might get my ass beat, I do hope it does get a little bit more challenging later on, because at this point it does seem to have been a little bit light on the difficulty, perhaps. Now let's do deconstruct, where the nanites get in there and cause lasting damage. Oh, ha, ha. Ho, ho. Oh, dear. Yeah, I think we done. But there is a story underneath here, and the story very much reminds me of Star Control 2, which is a bit of humanity overcoming, you know, impossible odds, and I do think that's kind of cool. So, okay, well, you'll see what happens here. So this person is in a critical condition. So we're going to take out this young impaler, who's not dead yet, dang it. So we're going to do a repair drone. And we're also going to do a cauterize. Not going to do much. Basically, if she took another hit while she was in that critical state, that would be the end of her. Damn it, you have so little hit points. I don't want to waste this on... I don't want to waste, like, a fire at will on you, but damn it. I really wish you'd just die. Ow, stop. I'm already dead. Well, okay, you're dead. Now, you can retreat mid-battle as well, but I'm not sure. I think I may lose the mission if I do that. And also, the enemy gets multiple additional shots at you while you're retreating, again, like a JRPG, so you want to avoid that if you can, because that could be just as bad for you, if not worse. So I think we're just going to get killed here. But yeah, I really think they did something cool here. They took a bunch of genres that I love from my childhood and that we haven't seen implemented in that kind of way very often anymore, and fused them all together, and they all work together really well. Oh god, we are so screwed. Yeah. But I think this is great. I think this is a fascinating game. I really wish I'd seen it sooner. I absolutely think this is worth picking up. I think it's... I think if you like this sort of exploration type thing... I mean, if you don't like 4X, then this is probably going to do nothing for you. But if you like the idea of sort of turn-based exploration that also mixes in combat and resource management and base management and sort of all these other things all mashed together, I think there is a huge amount to love in this game. And anything that can resemble even a little bit Necropolis and Necropolis? Why am I talking Necropolis? Sorry, I was looking at something there. But anything that can even remotely resemble Star Control 2 and Master of Orion 2 and end up combining them together, I mean, you want to weigh to my gamer heart, that's pretty much it. Oh, you poor fools, I am so sorry. Let's just do the virus thing, which will take your sensors offline because it's kind of a neat effect. which they both resisted. So yeah, screw you. Yeah, I think they did a great job of mashing up these genres, and I am going to play a lot more of this game. I will probably finish it. It is a rare pleasure when I can have a game. I follow gaming and gaming news so much that it's very rare that I have something come on my radar out of absolutely nowhere that I never heard of and didn't have word one of knowledge about, and be so pleasantly surprised by it and be like, oh my god, this is such a pleasant surprise, and I'm so happy I've run into this. And that's what Halcyon 6 is to me. It's a rare pleasure in several ways. Whoop. I just unlocked an achievement called HR Nightmare, and I don't even know what that means. What is that? Lost 10 officers in the line of duty. Oh god. So yeah, oddly enough, I did not lose 10 officers. I maybe lost 10 crew, so I'm not quite sure what it meant by that, but we're gonna lose officers for sure any moment now. Maybe we can limp ourselves to victory here. I'm doubting it. But yeah. And he can't even heal anymore, so maybe I can disable this guy. Nope! Because I already disabled him once. Bye. So sorry. That's literally the first time I've lost a ship in this whole game, so I think I'm pretty boned. But yeah, this game surprised me. You know what? It's been a real bunch of surprises for me the last couple of weeks. Between Redout, Tadpole Trouble, and this, I had 3 games come on my radar that I had totally missed somehow despite drowning myself in gaming news and media. And all 3 of them were games that surprised the heck out of me, that I really enjoyed, and that I can wholeheartedly recommend to you guys. And I absolutely do for this too. If this continues the way it has been, there's a very good chance this could make my top 10 games of 2016. That's how much I'm enjoying this. Unless it goes completely south before I finish it, or there's something else really horribly wrong with it. I think it's going to be a big element for me. There's just so many different elements at play here, and they all play together really well, and it's fun, and it's familiar but different, and it captures... It's not the most complicated version of any of the genres it's portraying, but it captures the most fun elements of them and blends them together like that. Bye-bye. We were so close, too, but... oh well, what you gonna do? And that, my friends, is where I should probably end this video. Yeah. It is a sad day indeed. We should start right away on finding replacements. I agree. Anyway, and it requires an officer rank level 10 because we're still unlocking another slot, so even that doesn't go down, which means that we're not going to be able to recruit new officers for a while, though we can promote one up. Promote a replacement officer, I guess, which isn't so bad, but yeah, so you get the idea here. But this is an amazing fusion of genres, and it is really impressive that a first-time indie team pulled it off. So kudos to Massive Damage, and I'm really happy that we're yet another Canadian team has made something so special. They delivered on a Kickstarter, which is something I have very much backed away from lately, and did really well with it. So yeah, if you like anything that you've seen here, or you like the idea, you like games like Master of Orion, Star Control 2, and maybe even a little bit of XCOM or whatever, get this. It's fantastic, and it's a great value too because it's only $20. So yeah, that is Halcyon 6 Starbase Commander for PC, Mac, and Linux from Massive Damage Inc. It is available on Steam for $20. I haven't checked to see if it's on any other services. If it is, there will be links to those in the description below the video. And if you buy from those sources, a tiny piece of a purchase will go to help support my channel, which I would appreciate very much. And yeah, if you liked what you saw here, I know this was a long video, but there was a lot to talk about here. If you did like what you saw here, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and most importantly, telling other people about it. That would help me out a great deal. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. I am going to unapologetically save Scum back from that and see what I can do with that fleet. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time.